Right, AFC, man. This one's kind of tough, and it ain't tough at the same time. You already know who the number one seed is. Unfortunately, they gonna give it to him.
He said they gonna give it to him.
Of course they are,
Okay.
because they want to see this story play out. So, you know, Kansas City, your number one seed. Your two seed. I have a healthy team who are hungry. Two of their players are very hungry right now, and I think they might get a lot more balls their way since Boyd is gone. So, two seed we got Cincy. The three seed we got them little Texas boys down there in Houston. Out there. At the four seed, whew, they might pull it off this year. We might have some Florida boys in the playoffs. We got Miami. We got Miami.
Okay.
I got
Okay.
Miami. I ain't had no Florida boys in the playoffs do nothing in a minute. In any
No, no.
round. Oh,
Jacksonville
I'm
last
sorry,
year.
Miami. I'm sorry, Miami. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
Miami and
sorry.
Jacksonville have made it the last 2 years.
Forgive me.
We haven't gone. Nobody's gone further.
I don't. I don't count first round. I don't care about first round.
The Jazz got to the second.
I don't. Did they
Ah,
have a chance? Did they have a chance?
it was worthy.
They
It was a worthy
shouldn't have
fight.
got past the first round.
Hey, guess what? Guess what?
I feel
Hey,
just like with Kansas City. Kansas City shouldn't have got out the round that they got out of, but they did.
I mean, true. I feel that way a lot of
So
times about Kansas City, but the refs somehow
don't do that. Don't do that.
the refs do play a part.
I don't like BS as much as the next one, but don't play with Kansas City like that.
I'm not saying Kansas City ain't good. I'm just saying that there's sometimes, but hey, look, I ain't gonna call it that way because guess what? I've been a Patriots fan for a long time. And I know, look,
Exactly.
I know so I know
This
when
is the new Gillette and Brady.
I know when the camera started to pan this way, Tom Brady looking at the ref like, hey, look, you see what we got going on?
Yeah.
All right, next play. All right, I got you, Brady. I got you. Look, I got you, Brady. Look, I got you, Brady. Next time.
I realized what I did here. All right, so I have two NFC North team with the fifth seed, it being the Ravens. I actually have three AFC East teams. Sixth seed is Buffalo, and my seventh seed, we're going gangrene, and it's the Jets.
You know what?
The Jets
You know what?
in with 9-8.
I got him at seventh as well.
Look at
I got
him.
I got him at seventh. I got him at seventh as well. I just feel like a healthy Aaron Rodgers is hard to keep out the playoffs, regardless of what team he's on.
You're right, and guess what? He's gonna go out in similar fashion. So the Jets gonna essentially gonna take care of that real smooth, like bye gangrene. That's so green, but that's how I feel. We got a rematch. No, it's not. They didn't play last year. Dang. But I got Houston and Buffalo. I think Buffalo's gonna pull that out. I think Houston might win 12. They might win 12 games, but I got them at 11, maybe 10 or 11 games. So I think them and Buffalo are pretty even. Buffalo's on that kind of range where
so you talking about you want another rematch? God, dog. What? Look, we don't see.
Wait. Just wait for it. Because it turns after the first round. All right. So you got Buffalo beating Houston. And then I have the Ravens beating Miami. So look at that. Boom. Houston's gone. Jets are gone. Miami's gone. Who's playing who now? We got Buffalo versus who?
Casey. Oh my God.
We got Cincy versus the Ravens.
Oh man.
Wow, chicken, wow. So we got NFC North facing against one another. We don't usually get these kind of division teams deep into the playoffs. So I feel like this year we could possibly see that because the AFC it's weird. Because once again, you got teams like Houston, you got teams like Indy, you got teams like potentially the Jags, you got teams like the Steelers. You don't know who's going to be good or the Browns. I almost had the Browns in the playoffs while you tripping. So it's like you don't know who's going to be there, but they going to bloody you to the point where we might have. I almost didn't have nobody winning 12 games anywhere. Frankly, I almost didn't have it.
their divisions are so even. They are so the teams in the division that they got to play is so even that
Yeah,
you just kind of like the game could be won just off the blade of a grass. That
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
a but I would say the NFL has done a really great job of keeping balance when it comes to or the GMs have done a great job, an excellent job.
They're getting better. I think the spreading of GMs and
Mhm.
talent in the management position is what really is pushing the game forward now. So we got Buffalo versus KC, Cincy versus the Ravens. Boom. Buffalo beats Kansas City in a nail biter. Bam. I'm gonna say the Ravens also beat Cincy in a nail biter. So we got two of the most dynamic quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks in the AFC champ with Buffalo and the Ravens. And this is the one that I am when I pictured it in my mind, I was like, I would love to see this. It should have been how it was the other year, and it could have been what happened last year if they didn't muck it up. Have the Ravens beating Buffalo. But guess who we got in the Super Bowl? When's the last time you seen it, my boy? I don't think we've ever seen it. Have we?
The Ravens and the Eagles, two black quarterbacks.
Nah. Two black QBs in the Super Bowl.
The last time we saw two black QBs in the Super Bowl was no, because every time I think about last black quarterbacks, only thing you're talking about here is you have who Jalen Hurts has been Patrick
Oh, I'm
Mahomes,
sorry,
yeah,
Patrick
Patrick Mahomes,
Mahomes and
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen.
Okay,
Uh,
you talking about just looking straight black.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about you.
The last time we saw that, man, that
No,
was
it's,
we've never seen that in that way.
we
We're
haven't
talking about
seen it
two
in
dark
our
skinned
era.
brothers. Yeah, nah, because you, yeah, because in our
So
era, Michael Vick and McNabb always finished each other off in the NFC, right?
yeah,
And the AFC, we've never had a black quarterback in that time period of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and then you had to throw in every now and then you'll have what's old boy with the Chargers. Like the
okay,
AFC has, the AFC has always had really good top heavy quarterbacks that
yeah.
we haven't seen a brother step in there
We
like that.
literally for a 20-year period we saw five quarterbacks and one other in the Super Bowl.
Mhm. Yeah,
Brady, Manning, and Big Ben, and then and somewhere in that time you got Flacco.
yeah. It's just you throw Flacco in there like he had a great run, but again, it's Flacco without that defense.
Oh,
We
I
because
mean, yeah.
but here's the thing.
Flacco went like 600 with eight
He went
TDs and no
crazy. He
picks.
went crazy. He went crazy. But I would say this though, and this is something that we all have to admit. Those teams that we just mentioned, when you just said Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and we're going to look the
Ben,
Pittsburgh Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, and even again,
they had two.
even when we throw in old buddy, when we throw in Flacco, we talk about the quarterbacks, but we do not do enough to talk about that defense. Bob
Oh, I do.
Sanders and the Colts
I do.
were savages. You look at the Patriots
You
defense.
know, I already say Brady
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have them first three. That wasn't him.
yeah. Tom Brady has never had a defense that were lower than what I think lower than 5 in his entire career as a starter.
Lower than 10.
Lower than 10.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then we look Pittsburgh Steelers rewrote the book on how to play defense just because how brutal they've been playing. They played in those time periods. So as good as the offense have been, the defenses have been just as elite. And then again, we could throw in the gauntlet they had to go through to even get to the playoffs because usually you have to play a tough team that has a good defense. I'm gonna throw their name in there, but we can't lie. The Jaguars' playoff defense was really solid. It just you go against
Oh yeah.
you had a team with a better quarterback. But I
So
like what you got there. Who's your
let's
honorable
go.
mention?
My honorable mention. I actually didn't do any honorable mentions. If I had to say one for each team, I'll probably go to Bucks for the NFC, and for the AFC, I would probably do Indy or Pittsburgh.
Boy, look, I got Indy on it as one of my one of my
Listen. So
hypotheticals.
my Super Bowl is Baltimore versus Philly, and I have Baltimore winning their.
It'll be their third one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Baltimore winning their third.
It's still a little time period too since their last one, so they kind of
Yeah.
do it this way. All right, I like what you got.
Hit it.
I like what you got. All right, my number one seed, same reason why yours is. I got KC as my number one. And my reason is not only do they have a decent, a solid team, solid roster, things coming back, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, it is what it is. But the fools in the NFL, as great as they have been as the GMs, you allow these jokers to get Xavier Worthy from Texas, who is technically supposed to be the Tyreek Hill replacement. The boy is fast. Exactly, and you let this man you let Patrick Mahomes get a deep threat. Now you done spaced out all the defenses, and you're telling me you're gonna go 1-on-1 with Travis? Yeah, nah, that ain't happening.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I got him as number one. My number two is a surprise for you. It's gonna be Miami. The reason why I got Miami as number two is just it looks wild, right? The reason I got Miami number two.
I want you to do Miami's schedule.
Tua. Let me pull him up real quick, though. Tua, in my opinion,
let me do it too while I'm talking.
Tua is a healthy. When he's healthy, he can get the job done. Also, I think at this point, he's not just playing for the win, but he's playing for a better contract. He's still gonna get paid, but I think he has something to prove. He got a lot to prove, right? In my opinion. And so with that, I definitely got to roll with the Miami Dolphins, and also their division.
The end of that schedule was tough.
Their division is winnable. It's very winnable.
Them last 6 games is ridiculous.
They'll pull them. Let me see what you're talking about here. Again, I made these picks without looking at the schedules.
Packers, Jets, Texans, 49ers, Browns, Jets. Those are their last 6 games.
What? Oh, gosh, oh, that's ugly.
You know what they? Luckily, their last. Oh no!
No. You can't look at any of those games on that schedule and be like, "This is a walkthrough." But I got him at
play the Browns and Jets at home.
Yeah, I got him number 2.
All right, keep on.
My number 3, I got the Ravens.
Okay.
They did something that I think most teams should do, just like the Kansas City Chiefs did. They doubled down on their strengths. You are a better run team than you are a passing team. And why would you, I think you still need to add some more receiver talent. I think he can always use an extra weapon here and there on the outside. But honestly, if you're looking at their team, we run the ball really well. Add Derrick Henry. Try to not have Lamar Jackson. Not saying he doesn't have to run a lot, but hey, let's give other people a chance and some more guys to touch the ball. So he's fresh when the playoffs hit, because the years where they either missed the playoffs or whatnot, he was injured. And so let's try to keep him healthy as much as possible, because when he's healthy, you can get to the number 1 seed when he's healthy. Derrick Henry.
I actually like their receiving core, because you think about it. Mark Andrews was hurt last year. Mm-hmm. Bateman was hurt last year. So you got a healthy Bateman, you got a healthy Andrews. Not for nothing, they need to give Likely the ball more. We saw what he is.
I mean, yeah,
we saw it the previous year, but they just didn't want to throw him the ball. They saw it last year while Andrews was hurt. Throw the boy the ball. He's good, and he's huge. But he's a target.
Thing is, those design runs to Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and the multitude of backs they do have opens up that window for them to have the opportunity. Yeah. So, but they double down what their strengths are, and every team's going to expect you're going to run the ball. We already know you run the ball already, but we're going to expect you to run it even more. And with that, it opens up the passing lanes to allow Lamar Jackson to do what he has become better at, which is throwing the ball. My number 4 is Houston. The problem with Houston, in my opinion, is that besides probably the Los Angeles Rams, I got to go back and look at some more. But for the most part, I haven't seen a team that was super stacked when it comes to you brought in, like then you traded in or you went in free agency and stacked up your roster. I haven't seen too many teams do really well in the playoffs. And I'm not saying, the Patriots went 18-1, but they lost at the very end. The Rams actually did really well and got their thing. Buffalo tried to do it last year. and stack their team. Didn't work out the way they wanted to. The Jets tried to do it one time. It didn't work out the way they wanted to. Cleveland tried to do it. Didn't work out the way they wanted to. The Jags even tried to do it. Didn't work on defense. Didn't work out the way they wanted to. Miami was trying to attempt it last year, I think, as well, when they added some, obviously Jalen Ramsey. Didn't work out. So stacking up your team.
Jalen just got there this year.
No, he was there last year. He got injured.
Was he?
Yeah. I think it was ACL. Yeah. So, in my opinion, besides the Rams, I haven't seen in history where you have stacked up your roster and you've done excellent and really well. You went through the draft, in my opinion. And building a quick team never turns out the way you think it's going to be. You are in a winnable division in the Jaguars, the Indy and Jags, Indy, and the Titans or whatever. You're in a very winnable division. So I can give you the 4th seed, but it's going to be hard, in my opinion, to take what you gained in that division to turn it over to the next. Buffalo, I got Buffalo at 5, Josh Allen. Diggs is going to be a significant loss, and Gabe Davis is going to be a significant loss. But I think
you want to be frank. Honestly, I think Gabe is more of a loss than Diggs is.
Look, the public don't want to admit that. But what we saw Gabe Davis do in the playoffs when he's healthy, when he got the ball,
that's legit playoff Jimmy. He's legit playoff Jimmy.
It was as if, in my opinion, Diggs disappeared.
I won't say that he disappeared because
he draws
one pass that he draws attention, and then the one pass they threw his way, he dropped. So you knock him for that, but they didn't really throw him the ball like that for real. And it's not like for the past 2 playoffs.
It could be from double teams, X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, they're going to have a significant drop in that, but it's going to open the doors for others to show up. And I think as the season goes along, we can see Buffalo develop a solid offense with the new guys that they're going to have operating. And I think you definitely got to incorporate the run a lot more. But Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I think he's going to do what he needs to do to get them into the playoffs. My number 6 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like their defense. I love obviously you got Russell Wilson. And I think that's the key pieces they've been missing. All right. I left off with Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson.
Whoa.
I think that.
Whoa. Go back. Who your 5th seed was again?
Buffalo.
You telling me your 6th seed is Russell Wilson?
Yes, sir.
Oh, keep going there. Sheesh, okay.
Russ Wilson, my 6th seed. Well, the reason is because Pittsburgh has been able to make it to the playoffs with boo-boo.
Boo-boo-doo. Okay.
Like, we can all admit that.
Yeah.
And it began before Ben Roethlisberger's last year.
Yep.
Like, Ben has been a shell of himself for years. So, with Russell Wilson, what they got at receiving court, pick, like, they got something there. Running back game, like, they got something there. I just think at 6 seed, they will be dangerous.
At 6 seed, they are playing. Who's your
Baltimore at 3? Boy, hey,
I can't wait to hear your playoffs. All right, go ahead.
And like we already talked about, my 7th seed is New York Jets. I think the Jets have a really good defense. Their offense is a shell of itself without Aaron Rodgers, but also it's a shell that we haven't figured out yet because they haven't had Aaron Rodgers' health. I mean, dude got injured on the first play of the season. So Aaron Rodgers back, solid defense. They got to win. The coach has to win. Solid, he has to win. And I think that puts a little bit more pressure on them to try to make it happen. So in my playoffs, right, KC obviously gets the bye week. We got Miami versus the Jets, so a little rematch of the other division. We got Baltimore versus Pitt, again, another rematch of the division. And then we got the outlier, Houston versus Buffalo. And so I got all right, so I got
these down.
Boy. All right, so yeah. So it's bloodbath right here. All right, so I got you ready?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I already knew it. I'm just making sure we're on the same page with this one.
I got the Jets beating Miami. I got the Jets beating Miami. The reason why I think that defense is going to show up in the playoffs for the Jets a little bit better than the Miami will. And
But
I think
they in Miami.
they are in Miami. Miami needs a home game. They have to have a home game to win a playoff. But I think the Jets can get it done with Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, and I think they get past them, and they will end up playing they'll end up playing KC if I'm not mistaken, because they'll be they end up playing KC. So you have Aaron Rodgers
Bye-bye Jets.
versus his
second coming.
His second coming, basically 15 versus 12. Yeah. All right, and then
Again.
So we got Baltimore versus Pitt. This is going to be a very physical game.
It is.
It's going to be a very physical game, and it's going to come down to a lot because either Watt's going to get home and Baltimore not play the way they should play, which is you need to run the ball to win this game. But if they decide to throw the ball, I think we can get Watt getting home a little bit more. Yeah. And that's if, because look, I would say, oh, Baltimore's going to run the ball and they're going to do it with Lamar, X, Y, and Z. But we just saw them in the playoffs forget everything they were working on and start throwing the ball when this man literally was like a 2 or 3 yards away from the first down. He started throwing it. Like, I don't know if he has the same mentality, they can lose this game to Pitt. But I've got Baltimore getting past them. I got Baltimore.
So my question to you is, Pittsburgh has made it to the playoffs. I'm assuming Russell Wilson is starting the whole year. Okay. What do you think Pittsburgh could do against the Ravens defense? I'm gonna be honest. I like their tight end. I like Pickett. I don't really know who their second receiver is.
Mm-hmm.
I just know I like their tight ends of Pickett, and obviously I like Najee still, and I like the other guy that they have. So I think that'd be a good 1-2 combo.
I think when it comes down to the Steelers, like I said, Pickett's decent, got a good running game and whatnot. You know, there's pieces there. The reason why you may not know the number 2 or who the number 2 receiver might reveal itself to be is because they haven't had a quarterback who's able to get everyone the opportunity to get that ball. And so just like with the Buffalo Bills, where we're going to see how the offense develop with these new guys stepping into the game, we're going to have that same situation with the Steelers. As the season goes along and as Russell starts to develop with the team he has, I think that's when we're going to start seeing whether, okay, this receiver can do this receiver can do that. And what we know about the Steelers' history is that they've done a really good job of getting receivers and developing receivers. And if that is going to hold true what they are used to doing, I mean, you got a quarterback who can get you the ball. You got a receiver who's going to beg for attention, and they're going to keep coming at him and double teaming him. And he's that type of guy who can go get the ball even if he is double teamed. But in that same situation, that's going to open the gates up for another receiver to show up and show out. So I'm banking on another receiver showing up through the season as it progresses. And I think that can open up their opportunity versus Baltimore if the Baltimore offense hit a snag. The Baltimore's defense, as great as it is, it's only as good as the offense moving the ball. But if you're going to keep having them 3 and out because you want to change what you do, they can hinder their own defense from having success. So,
you know what? If the Steelers do an un-Steelers fashion, because I think they did have a number 2 receiver. I love Deontay Johnson. I don't think he should have went out the door, but they let him walk. But if the 49ers,
Brandon, oh my God,
if the Steelers were to get Brandon Ayuk, I would double down and put them in the playoffs.
And I'm gonna say this about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I would double down and put them in the playoffs.
Mike Tomlin, and I'm gonna say this outside of what, and I can't even say outside of Knucklehead. What's his name? Buccaneers threw his helmet out, clothes off, whatever.
Antonio Brown.
Outside Antonio, and Antonio Brown can't even talk bad on Mike Tomlin because he gave you opportunity, and all of that he developed you to what you are to be great. Because we've seen too many receivers come from the Steelers organization and still be good wherever they go. So it's almost like, hey, we're the manufacturer of great receivers, and he's plug and play for wherever you go. Mike Tomlin is a player's coach, and I think every receiver given the opportunity, any player given the opportunity, would love to go play for Mike Tomlin because you know one thing, I'm gonna make it to the playoffs. I'm gonna at least get to the playoffs. So that's the MO. I'm gonna get coached, and not only that, he's gonna do what it takes for us to win the game. And you can't say that about every coach, every team. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always in the game, and so. And all of that, even with that little episode podcast he did with the pivot, when he said it, like, I'm a coach. I cannot say I can't coach you. That's what I do. I can coach you.
My job.
That's my job. So I think if that ends up happening, that is catastrophic for a lot of teams because they're good. I got Pitt at 6. But yeah, I got them beating Baltimore. I got Baltimore beating Pitt on the assumption that the Baltimore Ravens do what they do best. But if they decide to switch it up and not do what they do best, Pitt can steal that game from them. Because Pitt will already have played you twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Yeah. And I think the Steelers gets one game off Baltimore in the regular season. I was
just thinking about that, yeah.
I think they can get one game. What game they get is very important here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them at home.
If they let me look at the Ravens schedule real quick.
I would not be surprised if they beat them in Baltimore.
Because if again, they play
people
Baltimore?
Don't know is that Russell is a very good away quarterback. He's won a lot of away games.
Let's see. When does the Ravens play Baltimore?
I think they play him kind of early and late.
Ravens play Baltimore and Steelers. Yeah. So they got Baltimore so Baltimore plays Steelers at home December 21st. And then they play the Steelers also November 17th. Let me say this. It would be different if you play the Steelers in September and then you end up playing them in December. But the fact that you got to play these guys
a month apart
in 3 months in a row, based off of what I got, you play them 3 months in a row. That is hard, bro. And let's say you lose.
Ram stuff right there.
Let's say you lose at the Steelers. I mean, I'm gonna put it opposite route. Let's say you lose at the Steelers if you're Baltimore, but you beat them at home in Baltimore. You lose in Pittsburgh. You beat them at home in when you get to Baltimore. You telling me in not even a month turnaround, I gotta play you again?
That's less than a month that you at home.
That's the only, and that's not good enough because guess what? Neither you play in a dome, and guess what? You playing on a better field if you in Baltimore than you playing in Pittsburgh, as in terms of better field, as in like the actual field conditions, a little bit better.
No, Hines got real grass. I like real grass.
But Hines has had some issue with. Or is that them or is that the Bears? That's the Bears. Do the Bears have issues? One of those teams have
a lot of flooding,
which is crazy, right? But that's a difficult matchup for you to do. I'm giving you the nod based off you doing what you do best. But if you do not do what you do best, and if Harbaugh does not adjust what he has to do, and he's a good adjuster, but you're going against Mike Tomlin, he's a good adjuster. This is just a perfect matchup, in my opinion. And then again, Buffalo will end up playing Houston, and I think Buffalo can beat Houston. Just playing off the simple fact of, I'm just be honest with you, I don't believe in stacked teams getting far in the playoffs. And then it will either be Baltimore versus Buffalo or Pitt versus Buffalo. But I'm gonna go with Baltimore versus Buffalo.
You mean Kansas City?
No, because Kansas City will play the Jets because the Jets will be.
But we already know the Jets getting smacked, so it's Kansas City versus who?
Oh man! So now,
honestly, I don't. That might be an interesting game, my boy.
What? Kansas City versus Jets.
Boy, I swear for God, this is the year that Aaron Rodgers wants to show his behind at the age of 40 off an Achilles and just ruin Kansas City dreams of the three-peat.
I would love it.
We would never hear the end of this.
He'll go down, and you know what they'll say? He is the greatest quarterback of all time.
You know, because you already know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely the most talented quarterback that I've ever seen play.
Yeah, by far
But
in our generation, by far.
I understand people have this infatuation with Patrick, but literally before you could even think of Patrick, we've had Randall Cunningham, we've had Michael Vick, we had Aaron Rodgers. Shut up. They were all pretty much the only reason that what's his boy Lightbright can do what he does is because he has a coach that allows him to do so.
Think about it this way: imagine Aaron Rodgers with Andy Reid.
No. You know you want to know something, man? Imagine Aaron Rodgers if he actually listened to Matt LaFleur.
Oh yeah.
He might have had another two. He would have been at least one.
The issue with Matt LaFleur, and this is the
Ain't
issue
no issue with Matt LaFleur. Ain't no issue with Matt LaFleur. No. I'm not going to let you say this because literally,
let me finish. This is not
first year starter took the same team and demolished them.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to hear nothing about what the issue with. Ain't no issue, man.
No, look. Here's the deal. The issue with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers' relationship is that Aaron Rodgers didn't respect him enough as a coach. Not saying he's not a good coach. Definitely not saying he's not a good coach because we know he can coach. Problem is, I think Aaron Rodgers had the keys to Green Bay for so long and be able to do whatever he wanted to do for so long that any coach that came in there that didn't have a pedigree already don't get the respect that they should.
Matt LaFleur got him 2 MVPs.
Aaron Rodgers feel like he got himself 2 MVPs.
Man, child, please.
And so going against KC, these are good matchups here. These are interesting matchups. Going against KC, I actually can see Buffalo getting back and playing KC.
Oh, okay, I thought you had Baltimore. Okay.
The reason why the issue with Baltimore hinges on them doing what they do best. But if they choose not to do what they do best, they will lose this game.
I can see them trying to get into a shootout with Buffalo because
Buffalo's
going to run the ball.
Yeah,
Buffalo's going to run the ball, and then when they have those chances, Josh going to shoot that bit, and so Buffalo's going to be in a, oh Lord, what do we do? So I can see Buffalo coming out and getting back into it. I like that pick actually.
And then again, KC versus Buffalo, and gosh, man, I don't want to put them jokers back in there. However, the fact that they added, I think he's going to be so significant, bro. The fact that they added Worthy from Texas, I think he's going to be so significant in this playoffs, in games like this, and in that, unless he ends up being a bust.
No, he's not going to be a bust.
I got them going back to the Super Bowl to play Detroit.
All right.
I'm not going to give you a win on this one, a win or loss on this one, because I hope I'm wrong. But and now, look, listen to me. Hear me out.
Last time they played, KC lost.
Hear me out. My playoff for KC getting there all is based off of one team. At this point, it's based off of one team in my playoffs, and it's Baltimore. It's all based off what Baltimore does. Because if Baltimore loses to the Steelers, I got the Steelers beating Buffalo, and I think the Steelers could I got the Steelers beating Buffalo, and I think the Steelers can actually match up with Andy Reid because of what.
Okay, you're not too wrong.
You know what I'm saying? I think they can match up with it. To me, it's not about Patrick Mahomes no more. It's about the chess match between Mike Tomlin and Andy Reid. Oh, and guess what Mike Tomlin has been able to do? Mike Tomlin has been able to play chess match against a lot of good coaches. A lot of good coaches. Bill Belichick, that gauntlet, man. And I just think we're looking at the possibility of seeing KC versus Pitt, and that's going to be a lot harder game because guess what Mike Tomlin would do for his defense? You know what he's going to do? He's one of those coaches who's like, I don't think he does this, but I think he does it, and we don't know he does it. He's like, I'll pay the fines.
What?
I'll pay the fines.
Because you want to know what it is. There's something about these little white boys. They stupid.
bro.
I've seen TJ take the
He
fine. I
getting
mean, not TJ.
home,
I've seen JJ. He'd be like, I don't care. Yeah, he'll take that fine.
bro.
TJ don't let off.
He's getting home. He is
He don't.
coming home. He's gonna, bro. And look, he ain't like the others who gonna stop running X, Y, and Z. Nah, he ain't got his motor don't stop. What was the last time we saw Patrick Mahomes versus a legit
Killer.
bro with a legit killer? And guess what? The referees, they actually like Pittsburgh. That's if you look at
very
Pittsburgh
early in the year, they're one of the most pillownized teams. But once it gets later and later,
the
they're
refs kind of
soft.
like they're like,
I think it's just because they just button it up.
yeah. But in my when it comes down to that, if again, this all hinges technically on Baltimore.
You know what? You are so right here because to be frank, I think Kansas City should have lost to Buffalo. They didn't. And then they definitely should have lost to Baltimore. Because like I keep thinking in my mind, there are 3 to 4 times in that game where Lamar should have just flat out gashed that defense and he didn't move. Here is my point. Boy, you are definitely right. It all hinges on Baltimore. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the last thing that this league and that the media wants is for Russell Wilson to get to another Super Bowl. I'm gonna tell you this right now. He is going to gag so many people. They've been talking pure mess for the past 3 years about Russell. I'm telling you right now, if Russell hits 4,000 yards, if Russell hits 30+ touchdowns, he don't throw a lot of picks. And if this teams get to the Super Bowl,